The sun has actually started to make an appearance. I got burned last week. I had little lobster legs from sitting out in the garden without any sun cream on. Personally, I've been feeling a little bit all over the place recently, a little bit scattered, and like I'm struggling to focus on my goals, and maybe you can relate. I want to have it all together by the time summer properly hits. I want to be the best version of myself. I want to be thriving. Who is this woman? She's doing the most. I want that to be me. And I want it to be you too. So I created a 12-week summer glow-up plan that we can implement to have us feeling like our best selves as we move into the summer months. I do have a free PDF action plan to go along with this video that you can download from the link down below, just in case you want to like refer back to it. It's going to have all the key takeaways from this video, but let's just get into it. A fun fact about me is that I will not be giving up cake. Ever. And look, I know that cutting out processed sugar is supposed to be so good for us, and I am aware that there are plenty of ultra processed foods in our Western diets that are not serving us and that we would do much better to be without. I understand that. However, for me personally, I find it a lot more beneficial and a lot more sustainable and realistic to focus more on adding things into my diet than trying to demonize things or take them away. As soon as you tell me I can't have a cookie, guess what? All I can think about is that cookie. The one thing that I have found really useful over the last few months, and that I will be continuing to implement as we move into the summer, is not saying things like, I'm on a diet, I can't have cake, I can't have pizza, I can't enjoy my life. I will be focusing on adding more healthy foods, and specifically plant-based foods, into my diet, and doing what I can to support my gut microbiome. I did a video a little while back where I challenged myself to eat 30 different plants in a week to help support my gut microbiome. I'll link that down below. I go into a little bit more detail about the gut microbiome in that video, but for now let's just say that the gut microbiome is really freaking important, and if we want to be thriving in the summer, then we need to start paying attention to it now, because a healthy gut microbiome leads to less bloating, less stomach pain, a more dependable pooping situation, as well as improved mental health, energy levels, skin, hair, like the whole shebang. And the biggest thing that we can do to impact on that is add microbiome friendly foods and supplements into our diet. So like in that other video I did, one of the first things that we can focus on is trying to eat 25 to 30 different types of plants in a week. I know that sounds like a freaking lot, and it is. But when you consider that fruits, vegetables, legumes, nuts, seeds, even herbs and spices, they all count as plants. It's not that hard. Try and stuff as many veggies as I can into things like chilies and pasta sauces and that kind of thing, and then top it up with fruit snacks and nuts and that kind of thing. Another important thing we can do for our gut microbiome is include fermented foods in our diet. I know that sounds kind of gross, but it's going to be things like kimchi, pickled foods, kombucha. This right here, this is the kombucha that I drink, and I love it. I mean, don't get me wrong, kombucha is a little bit of an acquired taste, but of all the ones that I've tried, this is my favorite. It's the Remedy raspberry lemonade one. Love. Another thing I've started doing for my gut microbiome is drinking these fiber gel sachets every night before I go to bed. It's got asparagus husk. It's a type of fiber that makes it all the way through your digestive system, so it's really good for the bacteria that lives in your gut. Now it does say relieves constipation on the packet, and I was concerned that it might give me diarrhea, but I am pleased to announce that it did not. And if the little bugs living in my digestive system are happy, then I am happy. Look, as soon as the sun makes an appearance, I'm always like, somebody hand me a margarita. I don't know, I think it's a British thing. The sun just so rarely shows up here that whenever it does, we feel the need to celebrate. But alcohol really is not the best for us. I have drastically cut down on the amount of alcohol that I'm drinking, and I mean, not that I was drinking loads before, but now I'm really intentional when I go out to the pub or I'm meeting up with friends, that instead of grabbing a glass of wine or a cocktail, I'll look for a non-alcoholic option instead. And just that small tweak in my habits, just that really small change, has had a really dramatic impact on a bunch of different areas of my life. Because let me tell you something, I get the worst hangovers. So if I went to the pub and I had a few glasses of wine of an evening, the next day is going to be a complete and utter write-off. I'm going to feel disgusting. Nothing productive is going to get done. I am literally just going to lay in bed all day, stuffing my face with beige food. And that doesn't feel good. I mean, genuinely, I think if you want to thrive and you want to be the best version of yourself, you can't do that with a hangover. Like, maybe you can, I can't. So now, instead of going out and like having a few drinks, I'll have the non-alcoholic option. Or if I'm going out for a meal, I'll have 1 glass of wine. And that way, the next day still belongs to me. It's not a write-off. Instead of spending my weekends hungover in bed now, I'm out doing things and feeling good about myself and making progress towards my goals. And even aside from all of that, drinking less alcohol is obviously good for our overall health. I mean, alcohol can damage the gut microbiome, and yes, welcome. The gut microbiome is my Roman Empire. I think about it day and night. But it can also impact on our sleep and our mental health and our skin, and it's just not great. I've yet to find an alcohol-free wine that does not taste like liquid trash. So when I go out to the pub or something, I'll generally order like a 0 alcohol cider because those taste pretty good. If you're a beer drinker, I've been told that alcohol-free beer tastes really similar to regular beer. Not the case with wine. So yeah, if I'm out and about, generally I'll get a 0 alcohol cider. At home, I love to drink these. These are called Trip. The elderflower mint flavour is my favourite. They're alcohol free, but they contain CBD, so I get that same nice relaxed feeling as I get with a glass of wine, but without the hangover. Love, love, love. So much. We're also prioritizing movement in this 12-week summer glow up plan of ours. Now, the type and intensity and frequency of that movement is going to be different for all of us depending on where you're at right now. If you are currently an inactive person, I definitely do not recommend waking up tomorrow and trying to like go to the gym at 5 a.m. 7 times a week. It's going to feel really overwhelming and unsustainable, and you're probably going to give up and hate it. The most important thing when it comes to exercise is consistency, and in order to make that consistency possible, you need to find a kind of exercise that is enjoyable to you. My life motto is don't do the things you hate. So if you hate running, don't do it. If you find yoga boring, don't do yoga. There are so many different options out there for types of exercise, whether you were doing like a YouTube dance video, or you like join a rounders team, or you take up swimming or cycling or like paddle boarding. The possibilities are endless. There is something out there for everyone, and I think we need to take a second to highlight the fact that a workout or exercise, it doesn't need to leave you feeling sweaty and exhausted. As long as you're moving, that counts. So find something that you love and work out how many times a week you are going to show up for that thing. Sticking to it is the hard part, and I know this personally because my challenge that I'm setting for myself is to run 10k this summer. And if you watched my Couch to 5k from last year, you will know that I'm not good at running. I like it, but I suck. But I've made myself a little training plan, and to make sure that I am consistent and that I keep showing up, I will be bribing myself. You can use this method. I think it is going to be a 10 out of 10. I really think it's going to work for me, and here's how it works. So I've decided that I'm going to need to go out and run 3 times a week. And I've decided that each of those runs is worth £2. Every time I get out there and I do my run, £2 goes in a special tin where I'm saving up to treat myself to something nice. Anytime I bail and I do not do the run that I'm supposed to do, I have to give that £2 away. I am like freaking Scrooge McDuck, okay? I don't want to give my money away. So if that means I have to get my butt out there and run, I'm gonna run. I think this is really effective because one of the reasons it's so hard to find motivation around exercise is because the consequences aren't immediate. If you don't work out this week or next week or the week after or the week after that, you're not immediately going to feel the consequences of that. But next year, you're gonna look back and think, oh, I wish I'd done the things I said I was gonna do. I haven't worked out at all, and now I'm no fitter, I'm no healthier. By implementing this money system, you are feeling the immediate consequences, because if you don't follow through on what you said you were gonna do, it's going to bite you in the ass financially. And you can set the amount that works for you. It could be £5 a workout, £10 a workout if you're a baller, but it's just a way to help you stay consistent. To round out this exercise section, we are also going to be walking, if that is something that is available and possible for you. The goal is to walk 1 mile a day. You can do it on your lunch break, you could do it after work, do it in the morning, whatever. Listen to some music. Habit stack and put a podcast on. Like, get outside, soak up the sunshine. Some days it might rain. Go out and walk anyway. I know it sucks, but like do it. It's so good for your mental health, so good for your physical health. We are walking. We're going to be walking. Welcome to us walking. The final physical element of this glow up plan is skincare, because I'm obsessed. Do you need a 12-step skincare routine? No. Absolutely not. And I'm going to offer 2 options here that you can choose from. Either like bare minimum basics, or a little bit bougier if you want to, you know, try something a little bit extra. If you just want a very quick, simple routine to help keep your skin looking and feeling good, then this is what you're going to do. In the morning, you're going to do eye cream, a hydrating face cream, and SPF 50. We're not doing SPF 15. We're not even doing SPF 30. We are doing SPF 50. Why? Because that is the best we can do for our skin. Our skin is hardworking and we want to take care of it, okay? Then in the evening, you're going to cleanse. You're going to use a retinoid, then an eye cream and a hydrating face cream. Now, if you want to bulk out that routine a little bit and add in a few extras, here is my skincare routine that I'm currently using. So in the morning, it's eye cream, vitamin C serum, a multi-peptide serum, a hydrating face cream, and then the SPF 50. And then in the evening, it's double cleanse, retinoid, eye cream, and hydrating face cream. I also do a weekly at-home facial, which I 10 out of 10 recommend. We are bougie on a budget over here. I can't afford to go to the salon every week, but having the weekly facial has had a dramatic impact on my skin. I can make a whole separate video about exactly how I do that, because just in the interest of this not being the longest video that ever happened, let me know if anybody cares to see that. But for now, let's just have a quick chat about the products that you can use in your skincare routine. Now, these are not all the skincare products I use, but these are the ones that I absolutely love and back 100%. For eye cream, I use the Green People C1 Age Defy Line Eraser Serum. Anytime I stop using this when I run out, I'm like, I've aged 40 years overnight. You know, this really does the job. For face cream, I use the Sand and Sky Tasmanian Spring Water Hydration Boost Cream. So light, but so hydrating. For cleansers, I have a cleansing butter. This is the Body Shop Chamomile Sumptuous Makeup Cleansing Butter. This is very oily on the skin. If you're going to use this, then you're going to need to double cleanse. This is not a standalone cleanser, but it is fantastic at breaking up hard to take away makeup. Then I follow that up with my second cleanser. I just recently started using this one and I love it. It's the Bioma, I think is how you say it. It's the Milky Moisture Cleanser. It leaves my skin feeling so soft. If you're looking for an over-the-counter retinol, may I introduce you to the one by The Ordinary. Look, if you're starting with a retinol, start with the lowest percentage you can find. I think it's 0.2% in The Ordinary, and work your way up. Recently, I switched from my over-the-counter retinol to a tretinoin, which is prescription strength. They're both retinoids, but this one is stronger. I get mine from Dermatica because as a girly living in the UK, there aren't many options where I can go and get a prescription for skincare because I don't want wrinkles. My GP would just never go for that, you know? Dermatica have a team of dermatologists working for them who can prescribe prescription strength skincare. And I have a coupon code that gets you your first month for £2.95. I think that's right. I'll leave it down in the description box anyway. Love this. Love this. For serums, both my multi-peptide serum and my vitamin C serum are from The Ordinary because it's very cost effective. I'll link all of this down in the description box. And finally, my SPF, the piece de resistance, I use the number 7 Protect and Perfect Intense Advanced Facial Sun Protection. SPF 50, 5-star UVA rating. It's amazing. It doesn't feel as heavy as a regular like body sun cream, and it doesn't clog my pores or break me out or anything like that, and it keeps your skin protected. Okay, now we're going to be talking about all of the shifts we're going to make for a healthy mind. We've done the body, now it's time for the brain. We are aiming for a hashtag stress-free summer. Are we still doing hashtags? Is that still a thing? I feel like, is that an old person thing now? I am so out of touch, oh my god. Anyway, this summer our goal is to be less anxious, less stressed, less overwhelmed. At least that's my goal. I mean, I assume you want the same thing. Okay, I am mostly talking to myself with this one, but we are going to need to cut down on the caffeine. Look, for most people, coffee is actually really healthy, and I don't just say that because I am a caffeine addict. People who drink coffee tend to live longer and at large are at less risk for certain medical issues and diseases. Now, don't get me wrong, certain people can't drink coffee for medical reasons or because it just doesn't feel good in their system. So if that's you, then you can skip ahead. For the rest of us who are quite partial to a cup of coffee and have multiple cups a day, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna reduce that down because while coffee on the whole is good for us, overconsumption of caffeine can really do a number on our anxiety and stress levels. And we don't want that. We're just going to make a really basic switch. So your first cup of coffee for the day, keep that. It's golden. We love that. I love that first cup of coffee for you. I love it for me. But then we're going to switch out to decaf. It's really hard to break a habit, but it is a lot easier to just tweak that habit a little bit. For me, getting up and making my second cup of coffee is so ingrained in my brain that I think if I was unconscious, I would still be doing it. I'm not thinking about it, I'm just acting on habit. So instead of trying to break that habit, just switching out the caffeinated coffee for decaffeinated coffee. That way it doesn't feel like deprivation, but we're also not flooding our systems with so much caffeine that our brains feel overly stimulated. If you have all these different thoughts, worries, concerns bouncing around in your head, then it is really easy to feel overwhelmed. And what we need to do is get those thoughts out of your head and into the world. Because when they're all stuck up in there, it's just too much pressure. Now for me, as part of my little glow up for the summer, I have started going to therapy again. And I find it absolutely incredible. I sit there, I talk about all of the things that are on my mind, all of the things that are troubling me, and it genuinely feels like decluttering my brain. And if therapy is something that is available to you, then I 10 out of 10 recommend it. But if you can't get into therapy right now, then something that you can do with a similar impact would be to start journaling. Don't worry about the content of what you are writing down on the page. Just write whatever is in your head. It doesn't have to be, a work of Shakespeare. It's just a way of getting all of those thoughts and feelings and all of the gunk that's up in your brain out. And as you're writing all of this stuff down on paper, it can really help you sort through a lot of emotions, put certain things into perspective, see things from a new angle, and in that way it is a lot like therapy. It's about clearing out all of that gunk, getting it out of your brain so it's not so messy up in there. You don't have as many thoughts and ideas and feelings bouncing around, and therefore you have more mental clarity. The other thing we're going to do to start feeling less stressed is to work on getting a good night's sleep. And as a chronic insomniac, this is a top priority for me. I just want to be rested. So to make that happen, we are going to start working on an evening routine. Now, it doesn't need to be a 12-step routine with all the bells and whistles. It can literally mean picking a time when you want to start getting ready for bed and just following through with that consistently. Because I don't know about you, but I do not have the best evening routine. Some nights I get to bed really early, some nights I procrastinate, I get distracted, and I end up going to bed way too late, and then I can't sleep, and then the next day I feel horrific. Consistency is the key. So for me personally, my goal in this 12-week glow up of mine is going to be to start getting ready for bed at 9 p.m, get my butt under the covers by 9:30, and that way I should be asleep by 10:30, and then if I wake up at 5:30 the next morning, that's like a solid 7 hours of sleep. Obviously the timings are going to depend on what time you wake up, your schedule, a bunch of different things, but just pick a time that is going to give you enough sleep and be consistent. Follow through on it. Set an alarm for that time every evening so that you have a reminder to stop whatever you're doing and start getting ready for bed. We do sleep better when we go to sleep the same time every night and wake up the same time every morning. Like, our bodies they just love patterns. But I will admit that this is something that I find really challenging to actually follow through on, so I will be putting a lot of effort into this over the next 12 weeks. Just jumping in with a sleepy tea recommendation, I have tried so many different brands over the years, but the Bird and Blend sleepy teas what do it for me. They did send me this in PR, but like no one told me I had to say anything nice. Like they don't know I'm making this video. They don't care. If I'm having a rough time trying to sleep, then I will make myself one of these teas before I go to bed. And within 20 minutes, I am asleep. We've got Enchanted Narnia, Deck Chair Dreaming, and Dozy Girl. I love them all. If I had to choose a favorite, it would probably be Dozy Girl. But like these put me to sleep, and that is quite a feat. I do not go to sleep easily. There's so much more I could have covered in this video, like little tweaks that I plan on making to my routines, new habits that I plan on implementing to get ready for summer, but I don't want to overwhelm you, and I feel like I've just thrown a lot of information at you. So if you'd like to see a part 2 to this video, let me know. But for now, please remember that you are enough just as you are. I love you so much, and I will see you soon. Bye!